Hello guys and welcome to a new video, new weekly video. Today's video is more so about the sales side of things. I wanted to cover a few things that I've learned across these last few months in sales and specifically the few things that I think are very important. I'll start off with one common misconception, and then I'll dive into kind of how to work around this common misconception, which is widely known around the different sales industries, right? Especially if you're, oh, let's keep myself on the smaller side here. Especially if you're in the agency space when it comes to sales, right? So maybe you guys have heard this, maybe people have told you this, or sales reps or sales coaches have told you this when it comes to sales and when it comes to objections, right? Which is objections are good, right? Now, I somewhat agree. They're good, but they're not necessary, right? Ideally, you don't even want objections, right? You want to try to steer away from them as much as possible. And there's different ways you can do this. One of the ways is to just not let them bubble up at all, right? In other words, what objections are is literally doubts. Objections are doubts in the prospect's mind to be able to bubble up and form this resistance, this whole sales resistance that they would have towards the end of the call, which makes it very difficult for you as a agency owner or a sales rep to initially close that deal, right? Now, obviously, before I start this video, I want to let you guys know I'm not a sales coach. I'm not a sales guru. Not am I very, very good at sales. I average around 15, maybe sometimes even 20% sales conversion rate. I don't do 40, 50%, so I don't know a awful lot. I'm not a industry expert in it. However, I do know enough to be able to talk about these few things that are relevant for anybody doing any type of sale, right? Especially in the online industry. Now, with that out of the way, when it comes to objections, you ideally just don't want them to bubble up, right? They're literally these thoughts in the also crazy bubble, thoughts in the prospect's mind where it's different like kind of problems that might occur, right? Whatever it is, right? It could be the different initial thoughts that they're having, whatever it is, and it's kind of like these triangles in their mind, right? They're not really. You guys got to bear with me on my drawing skills today. They're not really good to have in a prospect's mind. It's literally just in their thought process. They might be smiling or whatever it is. And this usually leads to one of the main like objections that people have, which is a smokescreen, which is I need to think about it, or initially a time to think about it objection, or it could even be the like send an email objection. Usually that doesn't happen a lot on sales calls, but it could even be the actual objection when it comes to like, oh, I'll come on, I'll get back to you, right? Whatever it is, right? Whatever smokescreen objection it is. The point is, you want to try to steer as much away from objections as possible, right? Imagine it like this. Imagine it like this, right? So you're in a boxing match with your opponent, and your opponent is throwing punches. So are you, right? You guys are fighting, right? Now, imagine you going 11 rounds with your opponent and them only starting to throw punches in the 12th round. Gets really hard, right? Because all of a sudden, you're fatigued. Yes, you beat them up quite a lot throughout the rounds, but you're fatigued now. Now they're throwing all their punches, right? Very easy. Just one little mistake from your end and you're done for. Out of the game, you're knocked out. You're just done, right? You're pretty much gassed out. Now, look at that as an example, and then compare that to you guys pretty much boxing as normal throughout the whole match, right? It gives you, as a fighter in the boxing world as well, a higher chance of actually winning instead of just having everything against you in the last final round, because that's when you're the most tired, when you're the most vulnerable, right? One wrong move in that last round, and you're done. As mentioned, right? You're pretty much done. That's why you want to try to have sales calls in the same way, right? You want to try to answer any questions, any thoughts, any doubts, whatever it is, throughout the call, right? That is also why this is called, this video is more about like how to show more in sales than telling more. It's a lot better to just show stuff visually and explain people how things work instead of just trying to talk all about it, right? Just tell them, oh, this is how it works and this is how it works. And then, because what that does is that it creates these objections in people's minds and it just hurts you in the end, right? Because imagine you're on the end of the call and then a prospect asks like, okay, yeah, so how does this work? Okay, and how does that work? If there's one thing, if there's one thing you do that they dislike a little bit, just a little bit, they don't even have to point it out to you, you're going to lose the sale, right? And you're never going to know what recording problem or something. Is it still recording? I think it is. Hopefully it is. If it's not, well, the video's gone. But anyways, the main thing that I would recommend you guys to do now is start showing a lot more in sales calls. Literally, start showing a lot more. I'm talking if you're going through a pitch and you're going through your process, show a lot more of it, right? So show more of exactly what you do. Let's say you do some marketing, show the ads, show how it works, right? Go through, let's say you have a three-phase process. You have phase one, you have phase two, you have phase three. Show everything. Show phase one, show phase two, and show phase three before you dive into anything else, right? And then what you would also recommend doing is that you answer any questions. So let's say phase one is all about marketing. It's all about getting people into the pipeline, kind of flowing in and all of that, like making sure that they get to know their brand as the whatever you're working with. If you're working with a roofing company, whatever it is, right? Show them how those work. Show them how the ad campaigns work. Show them what type of questions you ask, right? If second step is all about qualifying these people, make sure that you show them, do you do that through text? Do you do that through email? What do you do essentially, right? How do you qualify these people? Like, what questions do you ask, right? Show everything, right? And then while you're doing this, answer questions. Be like, for example, let's say their name is John. John, do you see like the value in this, or is this something you've been looking to do? Keep asking those questions. Hold these prospects engaged throughout the call, right? Let's say phase three is all about support. You can talk about the support side of things. Oh, I don't know how that happened. You can talk about the support side of things, like do you see the value in the support? Like, have you had a company do this type of support for you? Whatever it is, right? Start showing a lot more before you dive into that initial end part. Now, what's going to happen is that throughout your sales calls, you're showing a lot more, you're asking questions throughout, they're getting their answers. Once you're by the end of the call, they're going to be ready for the price. Not only that, but they're literally not going to have any questions because you've bubbled through all those objections, right? You've given them literally three options, three individual times to answer, to ask any questions. And then you've given them one more right before you dive into the pitch. And then you've also, at one time, you've confirmed with them. And what I mean by that is, let's say throughout the pitch, you ask them three different times individually in each individual phase if they have any questions, right? That's three times. Then right before the initial pitch, right before you initially go into the investment, you've asked them again another question, which you've dived into being like, okay, final question here. What questions do you have? Let's dive through them. Last ones throughout the like the whole process, the whole structure before we dive into the actual investment. What is the final question you have? Do you have any final questions? You dive into that, right? The very last time is literally just confirming that they understood everything. So what I used to do is kind of like the Alex Hormozy framework, where you ask them a 1 to 10. I wouldn't, because Alex Hormozy's framework is that you ask 1 to 10 based on how ready are you to get started. It's a little bit more salesy. What I used to do and what I still do, I'm not saying what I used to do, what I still do is I ask them, all right, Mr. Prospect, John, um, just if you were to range it on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate the process and the structure that we went through today? Obviously, outside of the investment, I'll cover that in a minute. But just based on what I've showed you, the qualifications we do, the work we do, is it one, Haider, I think this is completely shit. It's exactly like what I've seen before. I don't like it at all. Or is it 10? This is the very best thing I've seen. I think it's going to work very good for me. Where do you land on that prospect, right? So now not only have you asked them 4 times to answer any questions, you've done a last kind of check, temperature check, temp check, they used to call this, they call this. And then you made sure what they want. If they're anything above an 8, that's usually positive. You don't have to push them into making a 10. Usually, the reason people are not going to be at 10 or 9 is because they're going to be like, oh, yes, well, I have to try it out first. Or, oh, yeah, like I don't know how the pricing works, like whatever it is, right? So 8 plus is usually good. If they're under 7, if they're 7 or under, you got to make sure, like, okay, like why 7? Why not 9 or 10? And then you just cover their questions there, you cover their objections, you loop back to it, you answer, you go ahead and loop back into showing them what's different, and then you go back to the close again, right? So ABC, whatever it is. You go back and show them essentially what they're showing. So let's say they're concerned about the lead quality. They're like, oh, yeah, it's a 7 because I don't really know if these people are going to be qualified. And then you can be like, oh, I completely get that. Let me go ahead and explain you how we qualified these people. So always explain first. So what we're going to do, John, is we're going to get them in. We're going to ask a few questions to them. They're going to answer. We're going to make sure that they're pre-vetted. We're going to search up their address and their phone number in the MLS, and then we're going to set them up with you. And then that's how we qualify these people. Right? Let me actually show you that. Boom, go ahead and share your screen, go through the exact process. And then once you're done sharing it, then you can be like, all right, John, now that I just got to show you that as well, like, do you think that's a little bit different to kind of what you've tried before? Or do you think that's enough qualifications? Is it something that you want to add on to there? And then you keep going there and then you answer those questions as well. Basically, you're just looping back, right? And then by the end of it, once you've looped back enough times, if they have some concerns, you go in and ask them again. All right, John, just to ask you again, now that I've showed you that, are we still at a 7 or are we closer to an 8, 9? Like, what are we thinking there? at least get them to an 8. You can't do this all the time. If they just are stubborn on a 6, 7, 8, or 6, 7, 5 even, then you honestly, there's not a lot you can do other than trying a few times. You don't want to be stuck there for too long. But the point is now it's like literally 5 different times where you've had the option to initially ask them questions, cover any objections, cover any questions, cover any doubts they had in their mind before you dive into the pricing, right? Considering like comparing that to just doing a whole pitch, not asking any questions, and then going towards the end of the call, and then here getting a lot of questions. Very, very difficult. You don't want to deal with this. You would rather want a prospect where it's like this. You keep going like this, do, and then you dive into a little bit more, and then you go a little bit more questions, and then you go a little bit question, and then you go towards the close, right? Pretty much of a different process. It's a lot better than doing this. I'm not saying it's not possible to close like this. I closed a few deals like this. When I was started out, I did all my sales calls like this, but now it's just a lot easier. It's just a lot more framework to it, a lot more better of a process. So definitely do that. One last thing I'll leave you guys with is imagine this, right? If you're not showing your prospects enough, if you're not showing them an actual pitch deck, if you're not showing them like visually what you're gonna do for them, it's like selling someone a car without them knowing exactly what the car looks like. Like I can tell you like, hey, listen, do you want to, let's say Sam, hey Sam, do you want to buy a car? It's a red car, it's a red Ferrari. Do you want to buy it? Like, do you want to buy it? I'm going to try this beautiful car. It's red. It has this sunroof. It has these like blacked out wheels. It got a carbon fiber on the back. It got a spoiler carbon fiber. It's the Novitec exhaust, whatever it is, right? And it's very difficult for you to imagine that. But if I were to, I'm not going to try to draw a car here. But if I were to actually show you a car, like for example, this one, crazy car right now, got a crazy, crazy spoiler here, big ass wheels. We got the exhaust pipes here. It's a crazy car, okay? This is I've got the doorknobs here, whatever it is, right? Yeah, crazy car here. But anyways, this is like the car, and now I'm actually showing you the car. It's a lot easier for you to actually visualize and understand that process, right? Um, you guys want to you make sure that in sales, there's always this bridge that you're bridging, right? You're always bridging this bridge from the current situation to the desired situation, right? Where everybody wants to be. And if you're not able to show this bridge, if this bridge is a invisible bridge, it's a lot difficult to just sell. You can't, this is kind of you, right? This is your process, your structure, everything like that. If you don't show them this, if you don't show them how you're going to hold their hand and get them to their desired situation, it's going to be very hard for you to sell them something. It's going to be very difficult. I used to do this in my first few calls. I swear I have a lot of recordings for it as well. I can even go through them and just roast myself. I literally used to have my camera off. I didn't explain anything. I didn't go through anything visually. And I used to just talk. I used to just talk and I used to just answer and I used to just do that framework. And it doesn't work out, guys. It literally doesn't. Surprise, surprise. It doesn't work out. I tried my best to do it. Didn't pan out at all. But yeah, guys, that's the main thing I would recommend you guys doing forward. Like on your sales calls, ask a few more questions throughout the calls. Show, don't tell. Show a lot more in your visuals, and literally just focus on those 3 things, and it can literally change your whole sales process. Obviously, there's sales is a lot deeper than this as well. It goes into the psychology, it goes into the mind, it goes into a lot more detail than what I've actually covered here. But this is just a few things. If you just change these few things and you actually do this, it will positively project your sales conversion rate and definitely change a lot for you. So do that, guys, and best of luck for that. I'll talk to you guys and see you guys in the next video. Peace out.